Good morning and welcome. Um, so, part of this journey, part of the spiritual awakening journey, and the counterpart journey is learning how to trust the process. Um, Learning that this is a shift. We are changing completely from our old way of being into a new blueprint. We are completely transcending our old self. And this comes slowly. And it's also something that is built on layers. So as you transcend one layer and rise into a new understanding, then you come to a point where there is more information available to you, or where your view is broader. And in this point, you can see further, and then you see more work that needs to be done. Not only this is a transition, so as you're rising, or as you are changing, or as you are evolving, or as you are releasing old beliefs and having, releasing, it's all in releasing. So as you're releasing beliefs that don't serve you anymore, or as you are coming into your true self, and as you transcend these old ways of thinking and these old behaviors, you slowly have to um, ease into the new knowing, because every single layer that we transcend, so every single belief that we transcend, or every single perspective that we change, we come into a new understanding. And and it's like a root, right? So it's like, in our old belief, it touched every single aspect of our life. And so as we transcend it, or as we evolve above it, or as we release that belief, everything in our life changes. And this requires time. It requires time and stimulation within your life, because if we have come to a specific, let's say, interaction with people that we would have behaved in our old perspective, in our old perception perspective, in a specific manner, then all of a sudden we behave differently. But it takes time for this evolving to happen. It takes time for us to really release, or really ease into our new way of being, and to concrete it into our behaviors and into our life. So it requires time, and it requires stimulation. It requires us touching our lives, or it requires the opportunities for us to apply the change that we have made, and to really um, concrete it into our lives, and make it an integrated in part of our lives, make it and put it into our automatic system of behavior. And as we're doing this, and as we're rising on this spiritual awakening, this is happening in many, many, many different aspects of our lives all at once. And it's very painful, because it's like we're releasing our old belief system, our old beliefs, our old behaviors. And it's almost like we are dying within. We're releasing parts of ourselves, things that have made us who we are. And especially on the twin flame journey, um, it is especially painful. Um, I'm going to pause this for a second and collect myself. Okay. So, especially on the twin flame journey, because it's all of a sudden, all of your points are reflected back to you all at once. So you are doing this intense work in all of these different layers of your life, and all of the different Because when you meet this counterpart, it shows you all of the aspects of yourself, the good and the places that you are out of sync with your eternal being or with your true self or with your true essence. And this whole journey and the spiritual awakening, it throws you into a spiritual awakening. So when we're speaking about the twin flame journey or we're speaking about a spiritual awakening, we're speaking about the same thing. And the further you get along on this journey, the wider it opens up for you and the quicker it goes, the process, and the more that you can trust the process and understand. And the more painful it gets, because the deeper you get, you're getting into your rooted um, behaviors or the parts, aspects of your ego that have made up your identity until now, things that have created who you believed who you were from when you were a child. So in essence, you're actually going back to your early childhood and correcting things. And as you are correcting these things, you are losing parts of yourself. And not only are you losing parts of yourself, it feels like you're losing parts of yourself. You're actually gaining yourself. You're losing your false identity, but it is who you have believed yourself to be until now. And you're going back to your root essence, but you have to uncover these layers in order to get to your pure essence and who you truly are, at the core, at the place that you were born, where all is perfect and all is exactly as it needs to be. It can't be any different than it is. It really can't. And it's such a privilege. It is such a privilege to be on a spiritual awakening and to come to these points. Um, but as we go back, we have to understand that this is a process, and we go through these ego deaths over and over and over again as we go through the layers of ourselves, and it's like we're going back in time. It's like we're being reborn, but backwards, as we release the layers that have accumulated on top of whoever we are, and then we go back into our early childhood. So many memories and so many emotions that I remember feeling when I was 2 or 3. All of a sudden, memory is when I was in the crib have been coming up to me because I've gotten back to those times when those beliefs have formed within me. And so we really do need to trust and just trust and allow the process. There's a lot of realizations that just happen like that, and that it just boom, and we're there. And there's a lot of realizations that we have, but we have built behaviors on top of those realizations that have been so far, I want to say, embedded within our essence of being, that it takes time to shed these behaviors or to even realize that these behaviors are built on this belief system. And I can give you an example. For example, I was raised I love how I was raised. First of all, I feel very grateful and appreciative for how I was raised. But I was raised with very little physical means, so we often had electricity turned off, or my parents were always struggling to even keep food in the house, or to pay electricity, or to pay rent, and we moved a lot. And it really added to who I am and to the essence of who I am. But at the same time, it built this perspective of I'm really choosing my words, so of lack, or I didn't grow up with the automatic knowing that there is prosperity in the world and that there is providence just because of my own existence, that everything is provided, which now is something that I'm teaching myself through meditation, through affirmations, through understanding, through being very attentive to how I feel. And just in the last couple of months, have I found places within me that alter my natural behavior because of this perspective of that I don't know, that it's not my automatic, that I am provided for. So, for instance, I went to visit a friend in the hospital, and that same morning I got a notification from the bank on my account that and So I'm getting very personal here. And it threw me into a kind of like a spiral. And it altered the way that I would have naturally behaved. So if I would have naturally went and got things to bring to make somebody happy, then it changed that and altered that. And what I'm understanding about prosperity is that the more you give, the more you get. And I can see that naturally in many, many different ways in different aspects of my life. For instance, making these videos, I feel that my sharing not only is doing good for me, but as I'm sharing, I can also show whoever needs to see this process and is going through this process, that it can help understand or get different perspectives of the process, and and comfort others that are going through the same thing, being able to understand the realizations understand the realizations that I'm getting through, understand the realizations that are coming to me through me. And it's really giving. It's wanting to give. And as I give, I get. So many times when I turn on the video, I have a certain path that I think I'm going to go down, and whenever I turn on the video, it just keeps on going and going, and it's not something that I could have anticipated, or I know the idea of what I want to share, but it opens up for me. So I get the gifts as I give the gifts, and I understand that that's the way the prosperity also works. The more that I am open and the more that I am giving, the more that flows through me. It's an energy, right? It's creating motion. So people that try to hoard things, it's stopping the energy. It's grabbing onto something and holding on to it. The less flow of that energy goes through them. So the more they need to hold, it creates more of the same. And so when you are in giving mode, you get more to give. You get more to give. And the universe works that way. And I've been seeing that also in my prosperity. The more I give, the more I get. But the more I give in a way of being open hearted and in a way of really giving with joy of giving, not in a way of giving so that I will, without unconditional. And it's just like unconditional love. You give unconditional love, you give back unconditional love. You give unconditional providence, you get back unconditional providence. And I can see, and it's like karma. It doesn't work one on one. So you don't get from the same place that you give. You as you give, you create this motion in your life, and you never know where it's going to come back to you from. And you don't do it in the intention so that it will come back. You do it in the intention of giving. So, and just the act of giving makes you feel so good. And so, with this process, what I'm understanding is that through the pain, there's so much pain, and a lot of times we want to just try to understand it with our mind and try to make it happen. And I don't want this pain, and we start fighting against and trying to tell ourselves all sorts of stories and trying to um, also make excuses for ourselves, or try to say it isn't so, or when we start fighting it, it's like fighting going downstream. You're being carried by this current and you're trying to grab onto whatever you can on the side to hold on to it. It just causes more pain. Whereas if you get into the flow and you just kind of maneuver yourself with the flow and allow it and just surrender into it, but with strength, not surrendering like become a doormat, but surrendering with the knowing that it is taking you to where you need to be, and also kind of guiding yourself as you go so that you can go the easiest path, the quickest path, without getting stuck on rocks on the way. Or if you do get stuck on rocks, don't get stuck there, just keep going. Realize that you got stuck, go through the pain, and then let go. You don't need to hold on to that rock. That rock isn't your home. So, and this is as I'm saying it, I'm understanding it in myself. So when you can understand, and you can look backward in your life and see that all the things that you have gone through, that have been very, very difficult, and that you have gone through and accomplished, they made you that much stronger, and you can see that you do get through these points and you become stronger for it. And with the twin flame thingy majig, thank you for coffee. Oh, obvious. With the twin flame thingy, it's not only is it all happening at once because you're getting like these massive reflections of all of your different attributes, all of the different archetypes that you have flowing through you. You're getting like all of your weaknesses. Um, there is no good or bad. There is no judgment in this, right? I'm going through this myself. I feel very, very blessed. But as you get these reflections back to you, it's very, very painful, and you just want it to stop. Many times you start fighting against, and not only that, you have like this yearning, and this uh, it's like this yearning to be with this other person, and you can't be with them, and so you have the pain of that, and so you're going through all of these different things all at once, and trying to hold on and in this physical world, um, and and it really pushes you to your limits. But knowing that you will never be put more on your plate than you can handle. Everything that is put on your plate, you are strong enough to handle, because the it's actually reflecting yourself back to yourself. These are aspects of yourself. These are your, any weakness that you have is reflecting back to you. It's polar strength. So you have that strength within you. It's just a matter of standing up within that strength, and you can take ease and comfort in knowing that these things pass, and that once you pass through them, then you stand up within your strength. And there are many different ways to get to the same outcome. So when you see that there's polarities in the world, but the polarities are actually paradoxes, because they come all the way around and meet themselves back. So if you go through the pain, all the way through the dungeons of yourself, then you come back through and you find your strength on the other side. Or, there's many different ways to get to the same outcome. Or you can just stand up in your strength, and you come into the strength. And when you come into your strength, then the weakness falls away. So these are two different ways of coming to the same outcome and getting to the same place. Um, and just the knowing that you will come through this, and you will rise on the other end, and this is for your higher good. And allow yourself to indulge sometimes in the pain. Don't stick there. The pain is a pass-through emotion. It's something that has come to teach you something. Don't get addicted to the pain and to the attention, and really, as much as you can, sit in the pain on your own. Because when you start speaking about the pain, when you're in the pain and speaking and speaking and speaking, it's like you're releasing it before you get to the depths of it. So really, as much as you can, go through it on your own, and really get to, and in any case, you're going to have to go through it. You can't fix yourself without fixing yourself. You can't transcend without transcending. You can't halfway transcend and transcend. So this is something that you are going to have to do in any case, transcend it. Unless you want to close it off and not deal with it, and then you don't rise into your full self. But you also understanding, okay, so there's another couple points that I want to make, and I'm getting close to the end time that I have on my memory card, so I'm going to have to do this quickly. Um, is understanding. Okay, I'm going to pause this for a second, collect myself again. Okay, it's understanding that there has to be a question for the answer to come. So understanding that there has to be darkness for light to come. There can't be light without darkness. There is no contrast, and there cannot be an answer where there isn't a question. Even if the answer comes and then you realize that you were in the dark. So part of this process is being in the dark. Part of the pain is the not knowing and the void. And so when you have a wrong behavior that you've been sitting in for your entire life, and all of a sudden you see it, and you start to release it, many times we don't know the unknown. That was our known until now, and we can't see the other side, and it has to be a leap of faith there. There has to be trust. And it really can't be any other way, because once you find one of these places within you that you are off, you can't continue lying to yourself, and you can't continue to be off in that place. And you just have to trust that when you begin to release the places where you are off, that you will naturally rise into the places that are correct. Um, and that there has to be a question for an answer to come. So you have to go into these places of the unknown. You have to. So, many times we go into these places where we get onto ourselves, we get upset with ourselves because we were blind and we had this behavior, and how could have we acted that way, and how could we have thought that way, and why did I do this, and look how horrible I am. And we do all these things with ourselves, and I'm going to change that, because I'm not horrible. I'm wonderful. And that's something that I continue to tell myself, because I'm reprogramming my mind. Even with all of the things that I'm learning, those aren't faults. Those have come to teach me lessons. And so even when I'm in those places, to understand that, whoa, that has come to teach me a lesson, and I could not have gotten to the light without have gone passed through the darkness. And that the way that things have turned out, they have always been built on something before. So it is a continuous and constant evolving. And so really treat myself with love. The more I get upset with myself about behaviors or past behaviors, then the more I am holding myself in that vibration, the more I'm holding that alive. Whereas if I see it, and then, okay, so there is the pain in seeing it and realizing it, and then you have to let it go with love and say, okay, that is where I've been up until now. Thank goodness that I have been blessed enough and to see it, to be able to make the change and to live the continuation of my life without that behavior. Thank goodness for this process. And then those weaknesses now become your strengths, because you will never go back. And not only will you never go back, now you've become a healer, because you can see those behaviors in others. Which here I want to also add in that um, that if anybody is seeking, guidance and feel a pull or a draw towards me, that I am offering guidance services. So you can contact me either through Facebook or through email, or even write me in the comments with a way of contact, and we can discuss having a conversation and a consultation on your journey also. I'm still in my journey, but I do have insight into others, and I also have a channel. Um, so I just want to put that out there. And another thing, I'm almost out of time. I just want to put in some practical tips. Meditation. I cannot emphasize this enough. Meditation, even if it is a guided meditation of 20 minutes in the morning, meditation, get up 20 minutes ahead of time and meditate, and watch your mind and watch your words. Your words are programming your mind. Get into a constant watching of your words, especially when you speak about yourself. Um, be very particular in the words that you choose, and choose high vibrational words that feel good. And you can always tell the difference because of how they feel. Use words that build yourself up. This is the best guidance that I can give you. Um, and love yourself. So I'm sending you guys so much love. I'm almost out of time, and just so much love. So have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and I will come back and update as it comes to me. So